And charge your Career Connect program with our special guest, Ayana Duncanson. Hi, how are you, Ayana?
Hello, thank you so much for having me.
So, Charger Career Connect, this is our first episode. You're the first special guest and someone that's going to be around with us for the year, helping in a lot of different ways as a mentor and advisor and all that other good stuff. But let's talk a little bit about the program. So, Career Connect program is really to connect alums like yourself and industry executives like yourself, influencers, and future mentors. And this is a platform that's going to be ongoing. We're going to drop it on Wednesday nights at 6 o'clock. This is pre-recorded. Towards the end of the semester and later on into the year, we're going to be doing live. We're going to be doing Q&As, and then we're going to do deeper dives on those students that want to, kind of drill down a little bit deeper on their assessments and some advice and mentoring and roadmaps for their career and all that other good stuff. So the quote that I have, and I think is the core of this, and then I'll stop talking. Actually, no, I'm going to introduce you, is that student athletes and those who are seeking a career and making that transition over, there's this extreme pressure sometimes that we as former athletes put on ourselves, and these kids, these student athletes right now put on themselves, is that they kind of think like everything has to be done now. And the core for us, I believe, is the quote that I use all the time is you are going to figure out what you hate doing long before you discover a career that you love. And usually it could be a 6-year window, it could be a 20-year window. But this to us is that discovery process, right? And for our alums to tell our story. So with that, I know you are in a pretty good spot in your career right now, in a pretty cool career, but I want to brag about you a little bit, right? So you played women's hoops at UN as a Charger. You graduated with a degree in sport management and then an MBA in 2014.
Mm-hmm.
So you've been out, but you haven't been out that long, right?
No.
So you left UNH and you started off down you interned with Octagon, right?
Yes.
Then you went on and you were a senior account executive with Octagon and some Advantage. Is Advantage International, are they one company?
They're sister agencies. So yes, it's all under one umbrella. Mm-hmm.
And in your current role as senior manager of player services with the National Football League. So thank you for giving us your time. You guys are kicking off tomorrow night, and I know you're really kind of in the thick of it. And yes. So I'm going to drop the first question on you. So talk about your transition from being a Charger to the real world. What was your mindset like? I mean, where were you?
So that one's really interesting because I was in an interesting situation where I started graduate school while I was still playing basketball. So I also had this, as you can imagine, with graduate school, your class structure is different. Like everything's a little bit different. You have your 3-hour evening courses, and that's just about it. So that was the beginning half when you started to realize, like, okay, you're not running around on campus as much. And then right after I finished basketball, I had a job lined up to do management at Target. So I was like assistant manager at Target, like right after basketball, within the next couple of months. So I went straight into what would be working. And then so there's one thing is working, and then there's working retail, which is a completely different beast. So, and I was doing that while I was finishing my degree. So it was a really, really tough time for me. Right after basketball was done, I was working we worked 10-hour days and then went to school, then came back and did it all over again for quite a few months. So I was really, really stressed. And as if you talk to anyone that knew me during that time, I was just not a great person to be around because I was so tired all the time and working. However, because of sports, you're used to that. Like you are used to being, pretty busy, having things to do all the time. However, I wasn't particularly happy with my career. I knew that wasn't something that I wanted to be doing. However, I, was in a graduate graduate school situation and I needed to work, I needed to do some things. And I interned with Target a few years earlier. So it just naturally happened. And I needed money. So, I had to do that. So that was really tough, but I knew it wasn't what I wanted to do. And that was what was the most frustrating part. It was putting energy and time into a career that I knew I didn't want to just pursue. But still trying, still wanting to do well at it. But I knew I didn't want to do that. So that was really, really hard for me. And after a while, I think I survived through like Christmas time. And I was like, yeah, no, like there's no way in hell you are ever going to be putting yourself in a situation where you are doing something that's not fulfilling your purpose and is not making you happy. So I quit. I was like 22 and I was like making like $60,000, $70,000 a year. So I quit that. I quit Target and went to do a trainee position, which is entry-level position at Octagon, basically making like nothing compared to what I was before. And then started my career in sports, but that was really risky, really silly. My parents were not very happy with that. But I knew I didn't want to do that. So I knew exactly what I didn't want to do. So now I did, try working in the industry that I always thought I was passionate about. So
yeah, congratulations for making that pivot. A lot of people don't, especially if you're you feel like the clock is ticking, if you have student loans and all these things kind of leaning in on you. So it's huge. How important was it for the people and the person that you worked for? Not always kind of that logo or the business, but how important was that mentor as a boss to you in your career?
So mentorship has been critically important for me in my career through and through. Like even when I was at Target and I hated my job, there were still one or two people that I connected with that I still talk to today. And they've all, in any way, shape, or form, I think that people have poured into me some really awesome things. And I just hope that anything that I do, is just a reflection of the work that people have, put into me. So it's really a testament to the people that I've worked with and worked for. And I think mentorship, for a really long time, I was like, I don't have any mentors. Like, I don't, I never formulated that formal relationship as a mentor, but I realized that the people that I worked with or became friends with, they were all mentors in one way, shape, or form, whether we called it that or not. So now that I look back on relationships that I've had, it was very much a mentor situation, but I didn't have the framework to think about it that way. It was just, oh no, like, this person and I get along really well, and she's a good person to talk to for advice, but it was never formalized. And I don't think that they are formalized, to be honest. Like, even the folks that would be considered mentors to me now, or just out of genuine friendship, and we just genuinely, enjoy spending time with each other and talking about stuff, and we have, things in common versus, like emailing someone and like asking them to be my mentor. Like, I've never done anything like that.
You just pick them. I mean, so if you were going to say, look for those mentors, especially starting now, your sophomore, junior, senior year, what are those mentorships like? What kind of mentors would you say at UNH that you would pick out besides the professors and coaches? Are there anybody else that you think really looking back at it helped you?
I'm thinking,
was it anybody in career development or?
Yes. I remember his name. He was Brian was his first name. I don't remember his last name.
You won't get any hate mail. Don't worry about it.
Okay. But I remember him being fantastic.
Yeah.
When I was looking for jobs, like absolutely fantastic at the Career Center. And he was like an amazing resource. He had, a friend that had worked at Octagon and all these different things. So he was very, very helpful for me. I can't remember his name, which I'm really sad about. But then, I do think that majority of the people that I still, talk to are in fact my professors, and they've come in and, I've come to talk to their classes, and that I think at Octagon, we ended up setting up there was a formalized relationship between Octagon and University of New Haven through the sports management program, through some of the professors that I've worked with. So I don't know. I think your mentors, it's tough because when you're an athlete in college, you're just focused on your sport. You're very much focused on your sport. You're very much focused on working out and trying to make the best of the situation. So it's hard to think about what a mentor would look like or be for you, or even be open to the opportunity. So I think it's less about defining that, but then also just thinking about who are the people that you have in your corner. Who do you call when something tough is happening, when you need advice? Who are you talking to on campus? And think about that. And those are the relationships to cultivate, because they're naturally who you would seek advice from.
So let's skip forward a little bit. But by the way, that's great advice. But let's skip forward in that moment that you knew that this wasn't what I wanted to do. So it's like, oh my gosh, I hate this job. I don't like anything about it. But when you look back at it now, what are some of the skill sets that you learned at maybe that position that you were in? And what was that transition period like for you?
I'm so happy you asked that question, because I'll address the first part. So that moment, and you're like, I can't do this anymore. That's a really scary feeling, because you have no idea what's next and what's around the corner. But I also think in most athletes' minds, that's probably when we perform the best, when we have decided there's no other way but up, and we grind it out and we figure out what we need to do. So, I was emailing people, I was, having all these conversations, and I'm telling you, by the grace of God, and again, I think because of UNH, I was able to secure my training position and go from there. But I think that's an important moment to recognize, because, and it's not for, this is going to sound weird, a little over the top, like it's not for the weak, right? Like, a lot of the workforce when you get to a certain age, you realize like people are just here because they have to get a check and go home, and they do their work and that's it. But I knew that's just not the person that I am. I'm extremely passionate about what I do. I dedicate a lot of time and energy to work, to working out, to school, to all these different things. So I knew if I was going to be me and in my best form, I'm gonna have to do something that I genuinely have stake in the game, genuinely care about, and want to be a part of. And sports for me was that, not because it's cool, but because sports has given me so much, giving me some of my best friends, so giving me some of the best life lessons, the best, people that I know are through sports, and being able to be a part of those conversations, a part of those moments for fans, creating different activities, creating different marketing campaigns. That was just me giving back to the industry what it's given to me. And I knew that I also wanted to be able to use my story as something that, people can find value in, or, tidbits or pieces of advice. So I just knew that I had a bigger purpose, and it wasn't, wasn't relegated to retail at the time. So that's that. And then, I'm a big believer in things happening for a reason. And I know that my time at Target was extremely important for me, because it's retail management. It's managing people, it's managing P&L, it's managing sales, it's the bare bones of what management is. And I don't know about you, but you actually don't get that formal training in roles in corporate America unless it's something specific to project management. Yeah. But, I got promoted to a senior manager, and, a senior kind of whatever, and I needed to manage people. I only knew what some of those integral steps were because of the time that I spent actually managing talent at Target, very, very by the book management skill sets. And you just don't learn that stuff unless you actively pursue specific training for it these days. So that's just been extremely helpful for me in my career, and a lot of transferable skills from that role.
So let's go back, because every step in life, success leaves clues, right? And
Mhm.
when you go back to that transition in Target, you had the foundation of managing people and understand P&Ls and all those things. If you don't blow your ACL out, right, you don't get that fifth year. You,
Yeah.
you get your MBA, do
Mhm.
you kind of have that year to kind of digest a little bit of what you're on that roller coaster? You have that fifth year. Now, you know, um, like you said, things happen for a reason.
Yeah.
You know, what would you say for those seniors now who are contemplating getting an MBA or a master's degree? Where was your head at that point? Was it something you just did because you want to continue to school and get to your fifth year in? Or was it something you're like, thank God I did that? Because that really was the foundation of where you are now. Like, so talk about that.
Yeah. I hope that there can be both of those things,
Yeah.
because I very much just was doing it because I had the extra year, and I was like, well, why not? I think I was like toying between getting my MBA and double majoring in something. And I was just like, like, let's just get the MBA and get it over with. So I did that. And then, but now I'm very happy that I did it, because I don't technically need to go back to school if I wanted to. Like, I have my master's degree already. So I have, like, I was toying around going back to like law school or something like last year. And I was like, absolutely not. Like, I don't have the brain power for it anymore. So I'm really happy I got it done and over with. But I will say that, because of that, spending time, what's a little bit difficult about when you get your MBA when you're younger, you don't have the tangible work experience to compare it to. So your experience is a little bit different. And I was just really doing it because I wanted to play sports. So I wasn't as focused as I should have been. So if you're going to do it, definitely take it for what it is, soak it up the experience, and really do, get from it what you're supposed to, because there are so many moments where I'm like, oops, like, or I'm like, so I have colleagues that are in master's programs now, and I'm like, oh, I didn't, I don't remember doing that, or, something like that. So it is extremely important. There's so much value there. UNH does a great job putting together some awesome, curriculum and everything like that. So if you're going to do it, really do it.
Yeah, don't waste any time. So,
Yeah.
last question. So, I think we're kind of at the point now we're wrapping it up, but and this is not the last time we're going to see you, because you're going to be a part of this program as we kind of move forward. So you'll have other times to reach out to Ayana and get one-on-one with her. But so we'll talk about the contact information. But knowing what you know now, and if you
Mm-hmm.
had to go back and give yourself advice your freshman year and sophomore year, all the
Mm-hmm.
experience that you've had, what advice do you go back and give yourself?
So I'm going to give two pieces of advice. One is cherish every single moment. You will never get life the way it is in college ever again. You have your friends around the corner, you have food provided for you all the time, your only job is to play a sport. You don't have as many responsibilities as you think. So enjoy that time, because there's so many moments that I wish I could go back to that right now. So really, really cherish that and cherish those experiences. And then I also think really invest. I know we talked a lot about mentors, but really invest in the relationships you make with your peers in college, because in a lot of cases, as you move through your career, they will be a part of it. If you think about the people that are in your classes in your major, you will eventually be peers in your industry moving forward. And that's going to be something that's going to be really important in your career. So your successes are all intertwined in a weird way. So invest in those relationships with your peers and with your teammates, and the variety of people that you go to school with, because they are going to be a part of your career. So for instance, my roommate in college, Marissa Fisher, she played lacrosse. She now works at Adidas in Portland, and was in Miami at Super Bowl while I was there. And we hadn't seen each other in years. But I was like, oh my God, please come to this event and, come to all these different things. And she invited me to a bunch of her events. And now we were like, now we're working together on, some different opportunities for her and myself. So, and I would have never thought that when she was my roommate in Soundview, or I don't know if it's still Soundview anymore,
No.
But yeah, so like, as much as we think, mentors, but like the people in your peer group are also going to be amazing assets and amazing friendships that you will, want to cultivate and continue to have moving forward.
Yeah, that's such great advice. Friendships, the best friends are the oldest friends that go back in high school and college. You'll never lose those. They're your brothers and sisters forever, and your coaches, and the connection back to UNH is solid. So thank you for your time. That's Ayana over there. This is Rob. You guys have been joining us on Charge Your Career Connect. Ayana, we will put down all your contact information, how people can reach out to you. We're going to be doing a live Q&A with Ayana sometime later into the season as she kicks off tomorrow night with the NFL. We wish you the best of luck tomorrow night. So thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much. Looking forward to it. Have a good one.
Take care.